you have to be that close to my face, man? Back up. Back up. Look who's alive. Look who made a video. Listen, I have gotten 0 speeding tickets. I have never gotten a speeding ticket. Not one. Not even a warning. So it's not even about getting a ticket and getting out of it. It's about 0 tickets. Right? 0 tickets. And I'm going to tell you how I did it and how you can do it too. Now, first of all, let's get into a very important detail. When I say 0 speeding tickets, I do mean literally 0 speeding tickets, 0 warnings. However, the time span is relevant. I'm talking about since yesterday morning. Nah, I wouldn't troll you guys like that. However, we're talking about since 2019. The last time I got a speeding ticket was because I violated part of the triple tracker system that I recommend to you guys that can avoid speeding tickets. So there goes the KA. That is one part of the trifecta, the triple tracker. We'll get into that. So I guess let's start with the last ticket and why I got it. I think it was 110, 120 miles per hour in like a 70 or something. I just picked up the Alfa Romeo 4C, and I was taking it to New York. So I was driving from Iowa to New York, and this was the first night. It was actually my birthday, of course. I like to get tickets on my birthday. Anyway, so it was really late at night, maybe 2 in the morning, and I was doing 120. A state trooper was hiding in the dark, doing their little stealth mode thing where they cut off all the lights and they park somewhere on the side, perpendicular, right? Now, I don't know the situation with radar detection, because I would have had my 360C with me. So I'm gonna guess that he was a little bit slick. This is what they do. They sit down with no radar, with the radar gun off, right? And they make visual estimates. They can see who's cutting through traffic and stuff like that. And then they ping you. Boom, gotcha. Right? So you can have all the radar detector you want. You can't pick up a signal that's not there, right? So I think that's how he got through that. But I was not following the triple tracker system. This is my system that I use to get 0 tickets since 2019. And trust me, I have fun, right? Trust me, I have fun on the road. So make no mistake, I don't drive like a grandma unless I do drive like a grandma. But anyway, let's settle back down. All right, so the issue why I got that ticket, not only because of the officer being slick, also because I was tired, and that's part of the reason, ironically, why I was speeding. Probably not the best judgment call, but I made a judgment call based on sort of a risk assessment. I knew I had long driving, I was tired, and I needed to get off the road ASAP. And the longer I drove, the more compromised I would become, right? So I wanted to limit the time on the road, and I chose to do that by moving quickly while I still had a decent level Now this is on a road with not a lot of traffic, right? But that was what I was up to. But because I was tired, I think it affected my judgment enough that I made some bad calls in terms of the triple tracker system, and that's how I ended up getting that ticket. So what's the triple tracker system? So whenever I'm driving, I use 3 tracking systems, which has kept me ticket free, right? Number 1 is, and it's not in order of precedence, but number 1, a good radar detector, right? I use the Escort 360, was it Max 360C? Man, I had for a while. I think it's a 360C Max. I don't remember. Oh man, it's the 360 that has the Wi-Fi, so it can connect and do updates and things like that. Some really cool features that this thing has that I use. It has the ability to store locations. I store primarily 2 locations: a known or observed speed trap, right? Known or observed speed trap. What I mean by that is, if there's a spot that I know the cops like to hang out at, right? Then I'm gonna mark it, right? Whenever I pass by, I mark it with the Escort, right? If I'm just driving along and I happen to see cop side of the road running radar, assuming, presumably running radar, or 2, somebody pulled over on the side of the road with a cop, right? So somebody got caught. Here's a spot where somebody got caught. Presumably, there was a speed trap there, and that's how they got caught. That's why they got pulled over. We don't know this. Maybe they were doing a bank robbery and there was a police chase, and they finally got them to pull over. I don't know, right? But if I see on a road that I'm driving a cop pulling somebody over, or pulled somebody over behind someone with the lights flashing, I mark it as speed trap. I know a spot where they run radar, mark it as speed trap. Now, annoyingly, the 360C does not allow you to really set the exact range at which it notifies you, which is dumb. I mean, radar detection is limited by the sensitivity of radar detector in terms of how far away it can pick up signals, right? So that limits how much reaction time you have. It can't alert you until it's close enough to pick up the signal, right? Here's something where you have data stored ahead of time, so you don't need a signal. You know, 2 miles ahead, there is a spot where cops hang out. Like the radar knows this. The radar detector knows this. Why not give you the ability to set how early it notifies you? It knows. It's not like it's got to wait for a signal. It knows. So I should be able to know up to even 2 miles. 2 miles ahead, there's a speed trap. 1 mile ahead, there's a speed trap. Half a mile. I should have plenty of time. But to me, especially if you're going pretty fast, the warnings, they're decent, but they cut it kind of tight. They make it so that potentially, depending on how fast you're going, there's a lot of like slamming on the brakes. Not to where your tires are squealing and stuff like that, but you might have to stop pretty aggressively because you don't know exactly where the threat is, right? You know you're moving pretty quickly, and if you get into a certain zone, you're gonna get dinged, right? So you know, common sense, slow down very rapidly. Now, if I knew it's 1.5 miles away, I could just very easily, if I'm, you know, depending if I'm cruise control at 110, if I'm being crazy, I can just tap the brake, disengages the cruise control, but that is one of the things that I mark. So I mark known or observed speed traps. I also mark potential speed traps, right? Driving along a road, right? And I happen to see all of a sudden this spot on the right of the highway opens up, and it's a nice little spot where you could park a police car. There's nobody there. I've never seen anybody there. I don't know if a cop has ever parked there before. All I know is the fact that this is a spot that is hidden until the last minute, right? And it's got plenty of room to park a car. I say, if I'm a cop, I might want to park there and try to get people, right? So that's a potential speed trap. Not an observed, known, it's a potential speed trap. It's a spot that you probably don't want to go flying by. Because if you do it on the wrong day, there's a chance that you might get in trouble, because again, it's a good hiding spot. So I will mark them. I think it's called other, right? Because you can mark like cameras and hazards and different things. So I mark it as other, and then other I'll be notified a different distance than a speed trap. Speed traps give you the longest distance, I believe, in terms of early warning, right? So that is a big feature that I use with the 360C, where I have marked a lot of problem locations, suspect locations, where you might want to chill out going through these locations. I also mark police stations. I automatically mark a police station as a speed trap. Generally, I haven't seen cops running radar like in front of a police station. I think that's kind of lazy, right? But if there's a police station here, I probably want to be on my best behavior. I mean, because what are the odds? I happen to be rolling by a police station going too fast, and just when a cop goes on duty and he's pulling out the police station, and there I go by, 100 miles per hour, I wouldn't do that, right? But so I mark police stations as well, and I mark them as speed traps, right? So beyond that, with the 360C, the Valentine one previous to that, I'm really only looking at KA alerts 90% of the time, probably 10% of the time I might get some K-band. Usually K-band, I don't know, I don't end up seeing anything, but KA-band, when I get a KA-band, chances are very high that I'm about to see a cop running radar, so I take it very, very seriously. I mounted on the lower part of the windshield. I don't remember where I got that information, but somebody had done some analysis on the best location to put your radar detector, and they had said that putting it lower in the windshield, you do your own research, figure out for you, but that's what I do. Lower, low, basically as low as it can go is where I get it, and that's for maximum range, maximum detection. You would think higher would be better, but somebody had done some tests. I need to do my own test to confirm, but somebody had done some tests and they found that lower was better. So that's where I put it. That's the detector that I use. That's how I use it. Those are the tricks that the radar detector gives me. And that's one part of the triple tracker system that I use for 0 tickets since 2019. Now, Karma might set me up on this live stream to, let me not say it. Let me not say it. I'm doing the speed limit, guys. Cruise control, I'm chilling, right? So actually, that's a great segue to another part of my triple tracker system. So radar detector, number one. Number two, I would say, is your eyes, your brain, using your judgment. So for example, right now, I'm just chilling, man. I got cruise control locked in. Oh, you're this powerful, hundreds of horsepower beast, raised suspension, blah, 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 blah. Okay, yeah, it's a great car, I love it. But I don't have to be driving crazy all the time, right? So I don't always drive crazy. Sometimes it's okay to just drive responsibly and relax. Cruise control. Who's driving? driving a muscle car with cruise control. Oh my goodness, you're not a real car guy. Listen, man, that's called maturity. When you're young, you're all over the place, you know. When you get older, you learn to relax. I have a lot of fun, trust me, with my cars and my bikes. But sometimes, chill out, man. Relax. You gotta be going crazy. And again, judgment. Know when to play, where to play, and when to relax. I'm rolling through a neighborhood, passing a lot of people's homes, and I see some kids out here, some kids out there, people walking, bicycle riding. I probably don't want to be going too crazy, right? Blind driveways. I don't want somebody to run out in front of me and I hit somebody, run somebody over, kill somebody's kid, right? And it's interesting, after years of driving, it's a very weird thing that I've noticed. I have this weird ability. I don't know if any of you guys, tell me in the comments if you have this ability as well, where somehow I naturally know the speed limit. What I mean by that is, I'll be going through a neighborhood, never observe a speed sign, never look at my radar detector, which tells me my speed as well, speed limit, and I'll just set a speed, not cruise control even, just that's how fast I go, that feels right, and many times I'll check the speed limit and I'll be right on the money. So I will go into an area and I will hit 30 miles per hour and just stay there. And I will look and I see a sign and it says 30 miles per hour, right? Or I'll be doing 55 and I see a sign that says 55. I'll be doing 25 and I see a sign that says 25. So I don't know what that is. I don't know what kind of weird, is that like a car guy thing or just years of driving, or maybe I actually saw a sign in my peripheral and subconsciously I observed the speed, and I don't know what it is, but many times the speed that I choose is appropriate for the road. Well, actually, look at right now. I didn't make a decision right now to pick a certain speed based on the speed limit for this road, but I am actually doing right now, I'm doing about 67 miles per hour, right? Again, I did not choose that speed. Like, I did not look at my speedometer and then say, okay, let me drop it down to this. No, I was, because you saw earlier in the video, I sped up, right? I was going really fast, you know, showing up myself in this video. And then when I slowed down, I did not, you know, make a conscious decision based on the speed limit of the road. I just slowed down to a speed that felt right, and then I locked it in. Right, so the second part is really your judgment and your eyes, right? Knowing when and where to do what, right? Bad weather, it's raining, relax, bro. You're driving on summer tires and it's less than 50 degrees, relax, bro, right? You are driving, you're headed to a car meet, and you know there's a lot of young guys gonna be there, potentially 21, 22. Relax, stay alert. Some goofball in a Mustang, sorry to knock on Mustangs, some goofball in a Mustang, right, on some cold tires, might make a fool of himself right into you, right? You're somewhere where the surface conditions are compromised. There might high probability of gravel, high probability of animals, maybe deer, right? Blind driveways, blind corners, right? Know when and where. Time of day, right? Is this a time of day where there might be a lot of cops out, right? Is there too much traffic on this road for me to be booking it at 110 miles per hour because I have to cut people off, cut too close to people, piss people off, somebody with a sharp eye, get your license plate, call it in, and you're driving a car like mine that has a color that's like stands out, right? Look at something else that I do. When I'm passing people, right? This is what I out too, right? So you guys can't see. Well, let me show you. This is what I do when I call sometimes when I'm making moves, right? So I got a good gap right here, right? I want to close this gap, right? So this is what I'll do. Floor it. Well, I'll downshift a little bit, but whatever. So I'm going pretty fast, right? Now I'm approaching a little bit of congestion. There's a few cars up ahead, right? Off the gas. Drag is slowing me down. My speed is more closely matching them. Now I'm back on the gas, maintaining this speed. I would have passed, but this guy's in the way, the Hummer. So I'm going a little bit slower than I normally would have. I would have gone a little bit faster. But the idea is I'm passing them not at such a drastically faster speed than they're going, right? I'm not drawing a lot of attention to myself. I'm not pissing anybody off, right? Now this is hard to do without shifting. Even though I got a lot of torque. Well, actually, it's not so hard to do it without shifting. I do have a lot of torque. I just need to pick the appropriate gear, which is not 6th gear. See, now I can do it. So I want to pass this guy. All right. Roll off the gas a little bit. Do more of a subtle pass here. He knows I'm speeding, but it's not really like, oh, look at that guy. That guy's nuts. Right? Slightly faster than him. Then as soon as I start to clear him, like he's behind me about 2 car lengths, floor it again. Off the gas. Letting drag slow me down, not even using any brakes. Okay, now I'm on the gas slightly, just to maintain a slightly faster speed than this guy. Now, this is not the most fuel efficient way to drive, of course. So that guy's about 2 car lengths behind me now, flooring it. So it doesn't stand out as much. This car's loud as hell, so he might hear a little bit of noise, but it's just, people don't like when you fly past them, right? They don't like to be startled. They're driving and all of a sudden you know what I mean? Like, now you might say you're going so fast they can't get your plate, but they can also call in a description, right? There's a yellow car just flew past me, right? They call that in 911, right? Dispatch puts it out. There's a yellow car speeding, headed south on whatever route, right? Keep an eye out, right? And that's how they get you. A few miles ahead, they get you. They put the alert out. So yet again, as I'm approaching congestion, I'm not being an asshole and just maintaining my faster speed. So again, your speed differential, oh man, it kills. It also gets you in trouble. Now, here's a good example as well. There's a state trooper. I've got no signal on the radar. Now, I'm not using the other part of my triple tracker system, which we're going to get into right now. So I might have known he's there with the other part of my system, even though there's no signal because he's not currently running radar, right? So again, judgment call. You are coming around a blind corner. I don't know how well you can see up ahead. So there's a corner up ahead, right? I don't know what's around that corner from a hazard standpoint and from a threat standpoint. A cop could be sitting around that bend, right, without his radar on. He's not broadcasting any signal, and I can come flying around and he gets me. So if I'm hauling ass going down this road, I'm gonna make my speed much more reasonable before I go around the corner, right? And I'm always looking out for potential hiding spots. So I mark spots with the radar detector, but visually when I'm driving, I'm always on the lookout for a spot where a cop can hide. And interestingly enough, having this kind of philosophy when you're driving is also driving safer, because the effort that I'm taking to not get speeding tickets by always scanning and looking for potential threats, right? That makes me a much more alert driver. I've been on drives with other car guys, groups of cars, and been the only one to spot a whole family of deer on the side of the road, blending in with the background, with all the grass and trees. But I saw them, right? Because I'm always scanning for threats, right? Side of the road, front of me, behind me, rear view mirror, side view mirror, right? 360 degree awareness, situational awareness. That makes you a safer driver. You cannot be effective at looking out for where a cop might be, anticipating where a cop might be. You cannot be effective at that and not at the same time be a safer driver, because again, to be effective at picking out where cops might be requires a high level of alertness. And a high level of alertness while on the road equals safer driver. Right? I have never ran into, speeding and run into somebody's car and totaled my car by hitting somebody, right? I've never had anybody run into me, right? People like to take a very passive attitude. They get in an accident and it's all like, oh, this guy, he wasn't looking where he was going, he was going to run, right? What were you doing? What were you doing that enabled another driver to be able to do that in the first place? Right? I don't put myself in a position where someone can run into me. I'm not invincible, it's not impossible. But I think I've been driving for, 25, 35, 45. I've been driving for about 32 years. I have been driving for 32 years, right? I've had lots of fast cars. I've driven fast, right? All kinds of weather. I used to do 15,000 miles a year or more, I think, right? I used to be hitting up zip codes. Let me go to Boston for a couple hours and come back. With all of that, bad weather, good weather, early, late, nighttime, daytime. 32 years. Never been T-boned, never had anybody run into the back of the car. I never slammed into somebody. And yet, I feel like I've had some of the worst luck. Not the worst, I'm sure there's somebody worse than me. I'm not a guy that has been blessed with good luck. Some of the craziest things have happened to me. But somehow, no one's hit me. I haven't hit anybody. That is judgment, right? Knowing when to have fun, when to relax. And that is also all that effort that I spend looking for potential threats makes me more aware and therefore a safer driver. So an added benefit of you using my system to avoid getting speeding tickets or losing your license, an added benefit is it's safer. Oh, look, there you go. You got two cars there. Classic. So, because of me making this video, I'm violating my triple tracker system, and I'll explain to you that part in a second. Because I'm pretty sure I would have been aware of those guys, even though they're not running radar. So I think we're going to wrap up number 2. So number 2, again, the second part of the system is your eyes, your brain, judgment, right? Also, another thing, defensive driving. So for example, I would never do this. You see this SUV on my left right here? I would never do this. See right here? I'm not gonna hang out here. I'm probably in his blind spot, right? This is what I'm trying to explain to people. When I say 2 to tango on the road, when you get in an accident, it's always 2 people at fault. One person might be mostly at fault, but in order for someone to hit you, you gotta be in a position to get hit. I'm right now in a position to be hit. He might not see me. He's got traffic in front of him. He might want to cut to the right at the last minute just when I decide to accelerate, right? Don't hang out in somebody's blind spot, right? And don't put somebody in your blind spot. I'm not going to do this. You see he's right there. Now he's kind of like on my left. He's kind of in a blind spot. I can't really see him. I might forget that he's there. And I might run into him. Right? So don't put yourself in a situation where you have a car in your blind spot. I'm not going to stay here. I'm not going to be in his blind spot. I'm not going to put him in my blind spot. Right? So I'm going to move up further. I'm going to pick a safer position to be in. Pass this guy. Now, generally I would avoid passing on the right. That's not good to do, but sometimes I do that. Here, I'm good. I'm not in anybody's blind spot. No one's in my blind spot. I can just chill out right here. Right? So, I'm going to wrap up that part. Let's move on to the third part, and then we're going to give you a bonus. So, you have the radar detector, right? You have your eyes and using judgment. And then you have Waze. So I use Waze as part of my tracking system, threat awareness system. Waze is a community-based app where it gives you navigation and also information as far as dangers, potholes, car parked on the side of the road, animals in the road, or it might give you police, right? Police ahead. So those SUVs that were back there, I'm sure with all this traffic, somebody would have reported them. So if I was not talking to you guys, I would have known that they're there. So no one thing that I do is what made me 0 tickets since 2019. It's the combination of all these things. Got a little looky-loo over there. There's actually a woman in the passenger seat turning her head. So where my radar detector fails me, my eyes pick up the task, right? Me picking out, oh, this looks like a spot where I should slow down. That's a good hiding spot for a cop, right? Radar detector failed me because of the limited range, technology being affected by terrain, right? Or the cop is smart, he's not running radar the whole time, so no signal, right? My judgment might predict that's a spot to be careful in, so I slow down anyway. Radar detector didn't do anything, but I picked up on a potential threat, and I preemptively slowed down and made adjustments. And then I come around the corner, well, you know, there's a cop there. Wow. No signal, I picked up on it. The second part of a 3-part system. Well, you're human. What if the radar fails you? Radar detector fails you, and you fail yourself. You're distracted, you're stressed out. I run Waze, and if I'm going fast, I actively keep track of, you know, I look on the map, see if there's any cop that are on the map, you know, so I'm driving, look at the Waze, driving mirrors, whatever, chill out, check again, you know what I mean? So I'm always like, my eyes are moving around, checking Waze, right? I'm alert, listening for radar, KA band, right? So I have 3 chances to avoid being caught. Good judgment, right? Visually scanning for threats. Radar detector picking up a signal from a cop who's running his radar gun, right? And then I have the community, other drivers like you, alerting in ways that there are cops ahead. I have 3 chances in my favor to avoid detection, right? That's how I went from 2019 to 2023. 0 tickets, no warnings, no accidents, no close calls. That's another thing too. If you want to make an assessment of your driving ability in terms of safety, don't just look at your lack of accidents, look at your lack of hard braking, as is the case with me, and lack of close calls. lot of bad drivers out there that will say, you know, they talk about everybody else. Oh, these people, they don't know how to drive, and they're hogging the left lane, and they cut you off, and they don't signal. And, man, this guy this morning, looking externally, always at the next person, not looking at what they're doing, right? The way you drive has a big effect on what you run into, right? So I drive in a way defensively to where I'm anticipating things to where I don't have to use a lot of braking unless I'm goofing around, right? Because I'm not surprised. I'm using good judgment. I'm anticipating potential threats, right? So I'm pre-braking. I'm doing a better job than any Mercedes-Benz with all their pre-braking and accident avoidance stuff, right? My brain and my eyes are far more sophisticated than currently what I've seen in terms of these technologies. Now, the thing about technology is that it's consistent. I'm not going to be as consistent as a computer that's scanning the whole time, all the time, right? But good defensive driving can really, really help, and it keeps you safe. So those are the three main components that I use. And I think I actually, that's the thing about doing stuff live, right? Did I say the bonus already? I think I might have combined the bonus with number 3. So I said, oh, you know what? I did. I think judgment was supposed to be the bonus, right? Because I wanted to make the eyes specifically part of the 3-part system. In terms of the eyes, not really the judgment. I combine judgment. It's more about, you know, scanning, always scanning left, right, looking up ahead, you know, looking for spots where the cop might be hiding, right? And then the defensive driving stuff and the judgment, knowing when to, that actually, I think that was my intended bonus item. So making it a 3+ system, 3 parts plus judgment call, right? So, if you would like to potentially try to use the same system that I use that worked for me when I drive in a place that's known for, you know, cops. I mean, we've passed quite a few on this drive, just in this live stream, right? It's bad. State troopers are, I mean, this place has a reputation for being bad with cops and speeding tickets and whatever. If you believe that me driving for so many years, right, and not running into people and having people hit me, if you believe that might work for you, now obviously the eyes, that's just technique, so that's something you can refine, that's something you can do yourself. The only thing that really costs, I mean, Waze is a free app you can put on your phone, right? The only thing that has a cost is the radar detector. Now the 360C is quite expensive, but I would guess, I'm just guessing, you could probably get a used one for $200. Don't shy away from buying used. Don't make anybody make you feel bad because you bought something used. I buy used. I don't need to buy used. I could buy everything brand new, but I don't, right? I don't generally buy new cars, and depending on what kind of gadget, you know, I might buy it used. Don't need to, right? But why am I going to spend more money than I need to, right? Especially knowing that I'm going to end up wasting money, because what happens is I buy some gadget and I keep it until it becomes antiquated and it's worthless, right? And now you can't even sell it. Nobody wants it. It's like so old. So I completely, I mean, I get the benefit of the product in its lifetime, but it ends up being something that's like thrown in the garbage. I think it's better for the planet and better for your wallet if you can buy used and sell stuff too, right? You buy the latest gadget. You have it for a couple years. You see on the horizon some new versions are about to come out. I'm not saying you gotta always buy. I mean, like I've had this 363 for years now. I'm not saying you gotta always have the latest and greatest. Depending on the item, right? If you know it's something you might want to replace in a year or two, and you know there's about to be a new model coming out, sell it while it still has a decent amount of value before the new generation stuff comes out. Recover some of your funds, like you put into it. Use those funds to buy the latest and greatest at a discount. Not really a discount, right? But I mean, as opposed to you threw it out. You spent $400 on a radar detector, right? You used it for 2 years, so let's say $100 a year, potentially. Now maybe it's worth about $200, right? You sell it for $200, right? And then for $200 additional dollars, you can buy the latest and greatest. As opposed to you keep that thing for 4 years to where when you're ready to upgrade, the new generation has already been out for 2 years. And your radar detector is now 4 years old. Now, $50, maybe, depending on what it is. Maybe you have trouble selling it. Now, I don't really look at the specific radar detectors, because maybe radar detectors, that's not an issue. But some items, it'll be like that. I had an Xbox that I hardly ever used. And I think, I don't know, I had it for 3 years. I used it like maybe 12 times. Nobody would buy it. No price. I mean, I'm sure if I sold it for $1, somebody would buy it, but nobody wanted it. Ridiculously low price. Nobody was interested. Right? Anyway, your mileage may vary. So that is it on this live stream. Let me know your thoughts. Share whatever recommendations you have for ticket avoidance, what methods and strategies that you guys use. Share it with the community. And I want you to comment below and let me know what your thoughts are on my triple tracker system, right? A good radar detector, preferably with location storing abilities, like the 360C from Escort. Your eyes visually scanning, looking for potential hiding spaces for cops, right? Ways, right, where the community can help you out with notifying you where cops are. And then, so ways, your eyes, radar detector, and then finally, using good judgment. How you doing? $10.50? Thank you. Second, guys. Keep right, she says. All right, until next time. This is Carlyle's Picks. He's alive. He's alive. Did you guys hear? Carlyle's Picks did a live stream after 2 years of no videos. Sorry about that, guys. It's been crazy. It continues to be crazy. And perhaps at some point I will share some of the stories that I've experienced. But for now, be well, drive safe, and thanks for all the support. And until next time, be safe on those roads, guys. Don't let them catch you, man. Don't let them get you.